So let's stop right here for a minute and let's talk about what problems or what kind of headaches would this going to be? What do you see the holdups? How many leads do you think you might get from this? I mean, let's just have a discussion.
Too
let's
big a
bring
metroplex.
Yeah, Ricky.
What did you say, Ricky?
Too big in the metroplex to get people all over the metroplex. You know, too many miles from one side to the other. It would end up having to be a colossal effort to find a chimney guy in Mesquite, Texas, because the guy in Fort Worth won't drive out there.
Very good. Very good. You know how we handled that in the past is when we did Metro Atlanta, the first thing we did was said, where are leads coming from? And we tried to manage our windshield time. We had 13 guys going full time. And we tried to manage our windshield time. And what we found was the majority of our leads, 70 or 80%, were coming from certain specific geographical areas. So you know what we did, Ricky? We said we're no longer going to serve those other areas, and we're going to focus our marketing areas in the places where we're getting the majority of our leads now. And we drilled down in those areas, and it was very successful. Chris and Katie Goggins, you may know them in Texas. When they first joined me years ago, they were struggling big time because they were working the whole big area. And I said to them, I want you to be a big fish in a small pond and not a small pond and a big fish. You know, I want you to get in there and be the fish in that pond. And what they did was they narrowed their marketing area down and they won significantly.
Yeah, well, Beth's already got me doing that. It's obviously the very beginning, but sure. Dill was, we got on a call with Dill a couple of weeks back and just asked Dill, should I drop Dallas from any effort to market, or should we try to optimize the site for Dallas? And he's like, if you drop it, it'll help you.
Yeah.
Being
a bigger fish.
I was sold. Sold me right away.
So Ricky, hang on, Beth. One thing before we leave this topic, what I want to say about this, how we handled this in the past with other customers. A lot of people serve a big area, still do. You might too, Ricky. Even after you narrow down, it might be somewhat of an area, and what you've said is completely legitimate. We found that some of our vendors wouldn't go here, there, or there, and so what we did was, we said, if you're looking for a chimney sweep in, and then maybe it was McKinney, Texas, or wherever it was, Arlington, or wherever it happens to be, here's a list of people. So we had folks that were in the different areas to do it because we serve those areas. So if somebody says, Ken, I need a chimney sweep in Arlington, and I don't know somebody, I'm not that helpful. But what's happening now, Ricky, and this is where I'm saying is, when I said to you when we started, we have to move from home inspector to property consultant. And I'm going to give you a whole bunch of things I want you to be involved in as we move forward. So being a property consultant means the realtor no longer will have that list, you will. Okay, so to handle what you're talking about, if you serve 3 areas and your vendors don't go there, we'll have on your website the 3 cities and vendors that do go there, because you still need leads from there. Okay, obviously, or you wouldn't be working it. So we can help you with that, because I get exactly what you're saying. I mean, it was way too much for us too. So now, Beth, I'm sorry. I just wanted to finish that point, because Ricky's right. People are going to say that. And what we want to be able to do is say we have a solution for that. We don't want you to just abandon this strategy because for any reason it's too big of a winner.
Yeah.
I was just saying, Ricky's in kind of north west Fort Worth, and Dallas, he'll go to Dallas, but one of the things that we talked about when he came on was to try to kind of have Dallas there, but not be a focus more around his area, the growing area where he is.
Yeah, if you drill down, you're way better off. Find out where your business is coming from and drill down. Brandon, now, do all of your vendors serve Idaho Falls? Obviously, it's a smaller area than Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean,
our areas,
I know them both. It's a lot smaller.
We're certainly smaller. We are spread out because we do, have some, we're considered a small town with, smaller even towns, on the outskirts. So we do have a kind of a range of our service area, but for the most part, most of our vendors would probably serve most of the area. One thing that I would add is Ricky, when we were still had our business in Washington, we had two main service counties really. King County had Seattle, that's obviously a huge metropolitan area, and then Tacoma was kind of the main city in Pierce County. They connected, and so our thought was, well, maybe let's just divide it and have one group for King County, one group for Pierce County, and if they crossed over between the two counties, great, then they can have both slots on our page. That was one way to think through it.
Mhm.
So my question would be, maybe you're going to get into this, but so how are we finding the vendors we want to put our name on?
Good question. Let me ask you this, do you have a list now of people that say, Ricky, I'm your customer, and I say, Ricky, I need help with plumber?
Yeah, I do. And the dominant question from a client during a home inspection walkthrough is the top issues with the home, which is almost always roof, electrical, plumbing.
Right. Yeah.
Those I have several of those people that I can refer and recommend. When you start getting out past the main areas of the average home, beyond electrical, plumbing, things like that,
Sure.
then it gets a little bit more difficult to point to somebody and say, hey, go, this is where you need to go.
They need their grout cleaned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I
so,
get you.
yeah.
Yeah, I need my grout cleaned. Okay, I love this house, but it's got tile floor. That grout looks like shit, and I'm not going to move in here. That grout looking bad. Okay,
Yeah.
so you know what I do, Ricky? I go to my friend Uncle Google and Google business profile, and I go to that city and I type in that specialty and I do a little research. Okay. And what I do is I find out somebody that's really good. And so I'll call them right up on the phone and I'll say to you, hey, this is Ken over at, Southern Home Inspection Services. And we've been having some client requests for grout cleaning in your area. And we didn't know anybody. I didn't know if you guys were taking new business or not. And then they'll talk, oh yeah, we're taking new business. And you say, well, I noticed on your Google business profile, you did this or this, but it didn't say how long you've been in business. Or I saw some of your client reviews and, you just start having a discussion with them. Most business owners, when you say you have an opportunity to refer their business, you know what happens? They're like Pavlov's dog. They start salivating. They're like, oh man, it's some leads, So what happens is the first thing is, are you taking new customers? How long is the wait time? Are you still servicing this area? And we can, Ricky, get you a very specific kind of I don't want to call it an interview script, but some questions to ask. I'll personally make sure you get that. Okay, because thank you for saying this, because these are things that we need to be providing the customer. So that you guys make your life a lot easier.
And let me just share too, specifically with this one, we're happen to be on the page here. We didn't have anybody. We had a client call up and say, hey, you guys found a bunch of issues with the chimney. We need some repair. Who can we call? And I just said, hey, let me do a quick search. I was on the phone with them. I'll figure it out and I'll send you a couple names. Well, these guys were the ones we've sent over to them. They chose them, hired them, do the job, and then it turns out we found out afterwards they did an amazing job. The client was super thrilled. Boom! Now this guy's our number one go-to because we already know that he's done a great job for us.
So now the question is, because I know you do a good job, and I know you're going to help the customer, and you want to take our leads, but that's only half the equation. Okay, the other half is, do I have the ability to get leads from you in a reciprocal arrangement? And I'm not asking you for anything except for I want you to interview me and put that on, put it on there. Let's talk about a very specific thing. Let's talk about this. Let's get some interviews going back and forth, because you need to have a page on your website like this. We'll provide you with what you need. Okay, so what about you select a trusted vendor or a local a resource that doesn't have a website? So now what do you do? Because we've certainly come across that. Okay, and so what you do is Jaron wasn't with us then. He was still in diapers, but I'm kidding, Jaron. Jaron looks really young. That's why he's teasing me. He looks about 15. But So before Jaron came on and joined us, what happens is we would build this out, had a person that built this out, and they could use that as their website. So when somebody said, you have a website, they put their link from this page in their material.
Brandon
So
and
every time they came here, they came to our website to see that vendor stuff, which was a beautiful thing
Yeah.
too, because we got all these unique visitors. So we solved that problem. Now, you know, do a third of the businesses today in America not have websites? Yes, that's true. The fact of the matter
That's
is,
crazy.
we can help with that.
Hey,
That-
Ken,
Yeah.
sorry, just so you know, this meeting's gonna end at 6:54.
Dale, can you do something about it if we're not finished?
No, we just tried, but it won't
Okay,
allow.
so we've got 15 minutes or something. We'll adjust the
Okay.
time. I'd like to get started around 5 till, and then, you know, kind of give us a little latitude on the end, because as we get bigger and bigger, I want everybody's questions. I mean, we're just doing a lead tonight because this is so important to talk about replacing these leads that we're not going to get in the future after August 17th.